Because you have this amazing peninsula right across from it, and they never thought of coming here and populating it and having the most strategic city in the world. That's why they called it the City of the Blind, because it's like, they're dumb. Why didn't they do that? Now, how many of you have ever been through Hezekiah's tunnel?
Yeah.
This is the inscription that was taken out of the tunnel, right here. This is the original. This is called the Siloam Inscription. When you go through Hezekiah's tunnel today, right towards the end of it, 577 yards long, on the left-hand side, there's a plaque that sticks out. It looks exactly like this, except it's excavated. It's actually set out from the wall, but set back from it about 10 feet back. There's an area where the wall has actually been physically chiseled out. You can see it. It's just an area about that big. But Hezekiah's tunnel was rediscovered in 1880, but it was dug in 701 BC. And it was such a remarkable project. Those of you that aren't aware of it, and I think probably all of you are, Hezekiah knew that the Assyrians were coming, and the waterworks were still vulnerable outside the walls. Even though heavily fortified, he wanted to move the Gihon spring inside the walls to another reservoir because of the Assyrians coming and laying possible siege to the city. You all know what happens in the rest of the story of that. You know, these guys get wiped out by God. But the Siloam Tunnel itself was started on opposite sides under the city of David. It's under 90 meters of rock, and it serpentines back and forth until they finally met in the middle. It's an engineering wonder is what it is. They started much higher on the south side and a little bit lower on the north side, and they lowered the floor in order to get the water going through. But as they got close to the middle and they're pounding away, they actually could hear each other not only pounding, but they could hear each other shouting back and forth, and they went towards the sound and they connected. And when they met in the middle of this incredibly long tunnel, they were only 1 foot in elevation off. Wow. It's absolutely an astonishing feat. And so they decided, even though they were in a big hurry, the Assyrians were coming, it was a really scary time for them, that they decided to carve something on the wall towards the exit of this tunnel. And this is the carving. It was removed during the Ottoman times, and it was brought here to Istanbul, where it is today. Of course, everybody has part of somebody else's heritage. Israel wants this back, but of course, Greece wants Britain's Elgin marbles back and everything else. But this is the actual inscription right out of Hezekiah's tunnel. And it says, it's fragmentary because it was damaged. It says, the tunneling, period. And this is the narrative of the tunneling. While stonecutters were wielding their picks, each towards his co-workers, the picks each towards his co-worker, and while there were still 3 cubits to tunnel through, the voice of a man was heard calling out to his co-worker, because there was a fissure in the rock running from south to north. And on the final day of tunneling, each of the stonecutters was striking the stone forcefully as to meet his co-worker, pick after pick. And then the water began to flow from the source of the pool, a distance of 1,200 cubits, and 100 cubits was the height of the rock above the head of the stonecutters. That's what this says. That's the translation. And once again, this was found inside the tunnel and removed, chiseled out. It was broken coming out, but it's here now, and you're seeing a part of biblical history right out of the Bible. Hezekiah's waterworks at the time of the Assyrians, 701 BC. There it is.
Wonderful. Cool.